Just chopping clean. Blade staying in. Doesn't feel loose. It's definitely getting through there. Nice little curve and two 90-degree edges. One coarse stone like this little basalt nodule will smooth out any of these little high spots where there was an old little branch sticking off, a piece of knot that was forming. But a good piece of basalt, some sandstone, even some coarse granite will definitely take out these high spots, making for a much smoother shaft. One direction, go the other direction. Different spots on the stone. You've got yourself a little sanding block. So this will be a score cut the whole way around until I can pop it over my knee and give it a break. I cut straight down and then I twist my blade at an angle to take off wood mass from where my hand is and then wood mass down. Otherwise I'm just going to get a straight cut and it's not going to go anywhere. So I cut straight, just like this, rotate, same area, rotate, same area. And you can look right there. You can see that this is a wider cut right here compared to this right here. It's all about manipulating the blade, kind of rocking it back and forth to give yourself that wider cut. You want to rotate the wood. Because you're creating essentially a same systematic pattern and groove as you're rocking from one side, you just flip it over and you essentially go the opposite direction and you'll get an even wider cut. This scores around the wood and removes mass from the lateral sides of the cut as well as the trench of that cut. If your little saw tool becomes dull, hand pad, pressure flaker, just pop some new flakes off. Just have to do it on one side down as I'm doing here. Flip it over. Turn it around. This blade is sharp again. Continue to cut. And that's pretty much the handle. Now this is a piece of ash. And this wood has been seasoning since March of 2024. I just went and checked the staves I'm going to be using for some bow making. But when I felled that ash tree, I was on the lookout for axe handles, throwing clubs, and most definitely some bow staves. It's been seasoned out, it's nice and hard. It's going to make a great little woodsman's axe, Stone Age style. Again, with this being well over a year and some change, it's going to take a little while to put my notch in the actual head of the axe. Now I do have some pre-made heads. Not sure if I'm going to go with something larger or something that's a little bit smaller, like this hand blade. I'm kind of feeling the smaller hand blade since it's a woodsman's axe. I think that might be my best bet as I'm lining things up. I'm looking to essentially create a groove. I don't want my stone to act like a wedge because essentially it could split this. Either the stone's going to give way or the actual head of this little woodsman's axe is going to give way. So I kind of want to create a square pocket that allows it to sit in there but when I'm striking soft green wood, my axe head is not acting like a wedge and driving farther into this guy. So let's create that groove, a nice center groove right down the middle. We'll drop this axe head and then we'll go out and test it. This will take some time. So after about those 15 minutes, you can see where I'm creating that groove. That will be my drop-in point for the axe head. It's kind of a continuous process. Find a new little lip, new little edge, gives you a little bit of scrape. Stop. Does that work? Oh, that actually does work. Beautiful. Let's see. And it looks like my head is pretty straight as I'm looking down my actual shaft. That's kind of where I want it. I can always touch up the blade a bit. That works better right there. I got a little looseness. But I can drop some pine pitch in here and I can seat the axe. A little patch of leather in the bottom for cushion. I think that will work right here. We are lit. This is a mix of pine resin with red ochre. And I'm going to heat it and just start dripping it in there. And do a better job on that. And all this is heating and just kind of smearing and letting that glue run in there. If this was ever to bust or break, I want to be able to remove it. There we go. Let's just tap that in there. Put a little bit more in there. A little bit of heat over it. And we are dropping this guy in. Blades aligned to the actual handle. This is already right off the bat a functioning tool. The elasticity of the pitch is giving it the ability to take some shock. Once I reinforce it and I put a little pitch seam right here, that's going to give it a little bit more of a shock resistance, and then I can wrap it up and this guy will be good to go. Alright, so I got my pitch all around the blade and that neck. Just gonna let it dry. If we think of a kind of a right angle like my hand, where that angle is, and if this finger is my blade, my thumb is the wood, right here is where I'm looking to kind of create a little neck of that pine pitch. See, I'm just kind of moving that pitch in its last phases right before it dries up to that blade. I'm just filling in that void. This top piece, top amount of pitch, I kind of create that little bit of a neck and just tap it all in place. That right there is kind of what we're looking at. Alright, let's wrap the head, reinforce it that one last bit. Those little knots on the end really kind of, those feel good. I think I might just keep it how it is, nice and slick. Yeah, I think that will. Let's pull it nice and tight. Tight, tight, tight. 2. Yeah, that will work. She's wrapped up, waxed and sealed. Everything's nice and tight. Put some beeswax on there, a little bit of animal fat, some heat to it. Just kind of gave it a little bit of a sheen, a little bit of a shine, but I know that leather's nice and conditioned. So this guy is prepped and ready. Let's head out and do some chopping and see how it holds up. So right off the bat, just chopping clean. Blade staying in, doesn't feel loose. It's definitely getting through there. Blade's looking good. No chips. There's no little cracks. Still has its edge on there. It's looking pretty good. This should be a good tool for softwoods, greenwoods. If I was going to process a bunch of willow and make a little wiki up, or if I was going to make some quick little bows, or if I had to use something to chop down some willow shoots for an atlatl dart, this would be a good little tool. When everything is said and done, this is a Pedernales small little teardrop blade set into an ash handle, held in place with some pine pitch glue, and that ash handle is reinforced with a leather wrapping that's been sealed and coated in beeswax and animal fat. I like it.